Roman Babich here with another fragrance review, this time Grey Flannel by Geoffrey Beene. Grey Flannel is a Oriental woody that came out in 1975, and the nose behind this is Andre Fromentin. In the top zone we have Galbanum, Neroli, Bergamot, Petitgrain, and lemon. In the mid we have rose, sage, Narccisus, Geranium, Mimosa, iris, and violet. In the base we have the Tonka bean, almond, oak moss, vetiver, and cedar. So what does this fragrance actually smell like? Well, it opens very fresh, floral, almost like a old book, and there's definitely certain sharpness to it. And very quickly, as it goes into the mid, the sharpness starts to disappear and soften up, and by the dry down, there's no more sharpness, but it is still definitely floral. It's very difficult to pinpoint the notes down, but I do have to say that this is a very floral, very green fragrance that's almost like an old book, like you're in a library, and at the same time it holds a very old-fashioned kind of a smell, a very green, almost like fresh cut grass. This really isn't a fragrance for a younger guy. It's very difficult for me to wear because how young I am. It's not because you need a more mature nose. It just doesn't lend itself to a younger crowd. It really doesn't. If you're interested in it, I do have to say you do have to try this one before you buy, because especially if you're a younger guy, there's a good chance you'd probably not like it, even for someone with a more mature nose, just because how mature it is. It's something most younger men just simply won't wear, and I would have to say even younger women probably won't appreciate it as much because of how old school it is. It is not something that is like some of these other fragrances, older fragrances that are very popular. Those do have a certain youthfulness to them. Many of them have something modern about them, and therefore they're more easily wearable, while this is definitely something for older gentlemen. I would say if you're mid-30s and older, you're probably more likely to enjoy this one versus if you're younger than that. Definitely something not for a teenager or someone in their 20s. It just doesn't fit. It just doesn't have that youthful. It just doesn't have that youthfulness that you would expect from a fragrance that a younger man would wear. When to wear it, I do find that it is actually a very good office fragrance. Probably the fall and the spring is the best time to wear this fragrance specifically, just because projection is very, very close to the skin. I find perhaps in other climates it might project a little bit more. Definitely the spring is probably the most appropriate time to wear this because it has that that green quality. It definitely says spring, fresh cut grass. It definitely has that essence to it, and because it sits so close to the skin, it definitely lends itself to being a very good spring fragrance. And especially in the office, I find that is probably the most appropriate time to wear it because it's not offensive. At the same time, you won't attract any unwanted attention because it won't be playful or anything. It will just be very, very cut and dry, very professional, very presentable. It's not offensive, but at the same time, it's not super pleasing. It's not a crowd pleaser, but because it sits so close to the skin, you can wear it in a very close environment and present yourself very professional and very mature with this fragrance. So I don't have a standard box or bag. If I'm not mistaken, it comes in a pouch, if I remember correctly. I do believe that this is something that everyone should have their nose on, just so that they have a frame of reference, especially because I haven't really been able to find anything quite like this one. There is a more modern fragrance that is similar to this one in certain aspects because of that violet note. The one that comes to mind is Mercedes-Benz Intense, but that one's a little bit more modern, a little bit more playful. There's a certain sweetness with that one. It's definitely a modern fragrance, while this one is definitely more old school. It's more rugged, definitely more green. So that's one of the reasons why I say this is definitely for someone that's older. While if you're looking for something a little bit more, modern, a little bit more wearable, especially if you're a younger guy, Mercedes-Benz Intense is probably the closest one to this that I can think of. That is still very much, definitely more wearable for a younger guy. That's it, you guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and comment on this video. Let me know what you think of this fragrance and what is your experience with it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. God bless.